Hey guys, this is Gatsby with Tape, and today you join me for episode 5 of the Outer Planet series, and today we are performing another launch, and yes, we are going to Sonus, and yes, we're going to Slate, but we're actually going to attempt to land on Slate today. I've got lots of plans for Slate because I really like the planet, because it has like mountain ranges and just lots of places I want to explore, but the only problem is it's really big. It's kind of like landing on, what's his name? Tylo. Yeah, it's really big, it's almost Kerbin-sized, it's really hard to land on, so I'm setting a little probe there. It's also got some other things, a surface scanner for, looking at resources on Slate, because the main reason I want to land there is to put a fuel system down so that my Kerbal landers, which will have to be quite heavy, can refuel on the surface, so they only have to bring about half the amount of fuel. Anyway, ditching that stage, we're just pushing ourselves into orbit, and you can see the top stage, the third stage there, is a nuclear stage for taking us all the way to Slate. I think it'll only get us to Sonus, but yeah, it's a pretty tight-cut mission. I tried to keep the... yeah, I don't know what happened there. Random time acceleration explosion. So yeah, just one quick load later, I'm back in the game. I thought I'd cut that out, but apparently not. But yeah, no, it was... I'm getting loads of weird time warp random explosions recently. But yeah, I was having none of that. I'm not cancelling a mission because of that kind of stuff. Anyway, what was I saying? So... something about fuel on Slate? I don't know. But yeah, so we are going to attempt to land it. Oh yeah, the nuclear stage. This is a pretty fine-cut mission, is what I was saying. Is it has pretty much just enough fuel to do its thing. I'm not sure if the lander has enough fuel to land on Slate, but we'll find out, I guess. Because, it's pretty hard and it's just really difficult. I actually didn't live stream this video because I just don't have time. I'm moving to London in like 3 days, and I've just noticed my little pot of fairy dust has fallen all over everything. That's annoying. Anyway, after letting MechJeb do my planning once again, as I often let it do for this Outer Planets, because I don't know the phase angles and I don't really feel like working it out. Although maybe I will one day, just because as a technical exercise. Anyway, those were the rest of the second stage, and now the third stage, which almost breaks because of the fairings. But yeah, everything's good. Anyway, a very long burn, so just skip ahead to the end of it, where we're getting ourselves all the way out to Sonus. Interestingly, I think I probably mentioned in this update, yeah, I already have, but there's some new moons around other planets, so I'd quite like to go and visit them. But right now I'm focusing on Sonus, mainly because it's quite close relative to the other freaking planets. But yeah, there we are, on our way to Sonus. And now I'll just, show you the plane changes and things, because there's a lot of drifting through space I'm sure you don't want to see, and going all the way to Sonus, where it gets very slow and it's very far away. It takes a lot of time warping, even at maximum time acceleration. It's pretty ridiculous. I can't handle that shit. So yeah. Anyway, just get that on course. But yeah, as I said, I do usually live stream these. But that means this will be in high quality footage because it won't be live stream footage. I wonder if I'll even be able to live stream, and I don't know how good my internet's going to be in London. So I'm not sure how any... Oh god, what if I can't upload 10 anything? Anyway, this is a problem for another day. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be talking about this in this video. But anyway, there we go. We've got ourselves our intersect. And then we need to make another fine-tune to pull ourselves down below the rings of Sonus so that we can slow ourselves down. Not fully, just so we can intersect Slate. But yeah, those are the plane changes. And after about 1 billion years of time warping, we're at Sonus. Yay! And we get this really nice shot of being underneath the rings. I thought was really cool because, Sonus is super pretty and the rings are super nice. And you can see the surface scanners there, and you can probably see the probe now-ish. All RTG powered, obviously. We're very far from the sun at this point, so not a lot of power about. So we have to bring our own. Obviously, the very, very stupid people would be saying, don't take nuclear weapons to space, like when, I think it was the Juno, no. I don't know, it was a spacecraft heading for Jupiter that had RTG, and they were all like, oh no, don't put plutonium in space, you're weaponizing space. And Julian Assange was one of them, whom I thought was a very smart man for his WikiLeaks things, but apparently is very, very stupid. Has no ability to see why things would be. Yeah, so everyone's like, oh, no nuclear... I don't know, those people annoy me. A lot of people annoy me. A lot of people are very stupid. The tape advice, don't listen to anything anybody says. Except CGP Grey. He's the only person you're allowed to listen to. No, of course not. I really like how everyone's been going crazy about, talking of nuclear things in space, Elon Musk said about nuking the poles of Mars to heat it up so we could terraform it more quickly, and everyone's like, he's gonna nuke Mars! He's gonna nuke Mars! He's of course not going to nuke Mars. Well, maybe he will, but it's a quick... He tweeted out, I think, that he was just laying out all the options, but it was great. Elon Musk's so funny. Anyway, the nuclear... I don't know how I get internet and nuclear mixed up. But anyway, the nuclear stage burns out, and now I'm onto the satellite stage. The lower bit's the satellite that'll stay in orbit, and hopefully scan the surface. I've never really done any surface scanning, so I don't really know how that works, but I don't know. Hopefully I'll get some sort of information. But I have some... I'm not really sure how these surface scanners works. Anyway, so yeah, there's our intersect with Slate. That's pretty nice, just on the first burn, and you just got to keep burning around, because I want to be in the same... I want my orbital plane to be in the same sort of plane as its rotation, but that's more efficient for slowing down. It's just you have to burn off less velocity. Anyway, it's pretty inclined, which is good, so my surface scanner will be able to scan as much of it as possible. Obviously, it won't get the poles and the very high latitude bits, but I'm not going to go to them anyway, because that would be harder to land on, so it doesn't really matter. My fueling stations will be relatively equatorial, I hope. Yeah, the only fuel thing I've ever used before is kethane, and I don't think it works in the same way. I'm not really sure. I couldn't really tell what was going on when I was trying to look at it. But anyway, time to slow down around Slate. And look how goddamn beautiful that mountain range is. It's so beautiful! Oh, God! No, I do love Slate. It's so pretty. That's why I want to go there, even though it's massive and very inconvenient. And we choose to go to Slate not because it is easy, but because it is hard. And I vow that by the end of this series, I will put many a Kerbal on Slate and things. Anyway, yeah, I was trying to scan the surface, not really sure. It does have some readouts, so I assume there's ore down there, but there's not any, like, super loads of information. I don't really know. If anyone knows how these scanners work. Do I need the bigger one? How do you scan? How do you scan? I don't know. Anyway, but now it's time to land on Slate. So that's what this little tiny lander is for. It is super, super epic. Actually, it's not epic. I was thinking it's little, but landing on Slate is epic. I don't know why I just called it epic. Why do these words end up... Anyway. But yeah, the lander's pretty basic, I think is what I was actually meaning to say. But yeah, it should do the job, hopefully. It's cutting it kind of fine. I mean, it's in a higher orbit than I wanted it to be, because we cut this mission a little low on fuel. Maybe I should have had a slightly bigger nuclear stage. But there's only, like, one small type of liquid fueled only tank. So if you don't use that, you just ruin your fuel density. I don't know. I think... I hope Squad had just add some more standard liquid fueled tanks. Just some more shapes for nuclear engines. I know you can drain the fuel out of other tanks, but that's still they're still heavier. And the density is terrible because you're only using half the tank. So yeah, I mean... Anyway, let's slow ourselves down. And we've got lots of scientific instruments on here just because I wanted to look like I'm actually trying. I like all these little impact marks. They don't really look like craters, but they look like marks. But you can see the surface is quite bumpy. I would really like to drive on it as well. Now, that's a nice thing about high gravity worlds, is it makes it easier to drive, because like when you're trying to drive on like Duna or the Moon, every time you hit a bump it just like throws you into the air. And it's just stupid, so hopefully Slate will be more forgiving. And it's big, so I can spend ages driving on it. I would like to just drive for ages at some point. Oh, look at Sonus up there. Yeah, I used to think of like stuff like driving on surfaces just like really mind-numbing, but since I've been doing collaborative warfare and have been doing some really, really, really long flights, I'm actually more up for it. Kind of just a really long drive, just to other biomes. Might be fun. Anyway, we're actually... If you look at our Delta V window, the MechJeb window there, we actually looks like we might have just enough fuel to slow down. And you're thinking, oh, you've got way more Delta V than your velocity. However, I'm still being accelerated towards the planet by the force of gravity, and that's why my actual Delta V readout and my velocity don't necessarily sync up. So I actually at this point think I might have just enough fuel to slow down. But we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'm actually... What kind of core is that? That's the hex core. I'm really... The hex core and the octo core there. I know the hex core's better because it's the same mass and it has more torque, but I prefer the octo core because it has, like... It just has more 8 works better than 6 in this game. I know it's a random thing to think about, but I don't really like the probe cord. There's the hexagon one and the octagon one. I gotta prefer the octagon one, even though it's worse. I don't know why. It's just one of the random thoughts I was having. Anyway, as you can see here, I can't really see the numbers because I have to watch this in half resolution before it's rendered. So, yeah, but I can tell you that we're going too fast and we're about to hit the ground. And it looks like we might have actually had just enough fuel to... Oh, no, we didn't have enough fuel to slow down. But still, so that's good. But still, we hit the surface. Anyway, that's fine, because the point of this really was to kind of figure out what it's like to land on Slate, and this has actually given us a lot of important information. Anyway, back on Kerbal, let's rename the mothership to Pandora. Thank you to, I think, Captain of Games, was it? I think Captain of Games has suggested a bunch of things, and my favourite one was Pandora. But now we're got to launch the drive section to the Pandora spacecraft atop this gigantic rocket. And actually, this is actually a warranted rocket this time. This payload's really heavy. It's the drive section for taking Kerbals and shit to Sonus. Shit as in just other landers. I tested kind of the Delta V things with just really huge payloads, so I think it can take a lot of stuff to Sonus on this mothership. Anyway, just listen to this noise for a little while. Just, I'm just gonna, oh yeah, that's a great noise. I love the KW rocketry sounds. Yeah, so this is gonna go all the way up there. I actually left sound on. I rarely have sound in these videos because I'm recording for so long, and I probably have like ADD or something because I just can't. I just need to be watching something else as well, like Friends or a podcast or something. So yeah, I rarely actually have sound on, but I left it on for this just because I love KW rocketry sounds, and so that you can listen to weird KSB sounds at 4 times time accelerate. But anyway, yeah, this is basically KW rocketry's, I guess Saturn V analog, which I very much love and is very useful, and just looks epic. It also kind of looks like the kind of very early, just that one drawing of the Falcon XX rocket, the really gigantic Falcon rocket that might be built one day by SpaceX. But yeah, I also I only just found out about the Falcon 9 1.2, which has actually got even more powerful engines, which is really cool. Hopefully that'll be launching sometime this year. It kind of depends when they figure out. Well, they know what went wrong. I guess they just have to clear everything and check just everything because they can't have another rocket explosion. But you know, I mean, they had 19 flights, 1 minor failure, and now a major failure. That's actually not bad for a very new company. Anyway, we're in orbit now. And I'm leaving that stage behind because I simply don't need it. And I have a little bit of RCS. I only actually brought 4 thrusters, and you're probably thinking, Peter, you're crazy. You need more than 4 thrusters to move this around. It weighs, what, like, I think 60 tons or something? But actually, no, you can just move very slowly in space. I actually slightly overburned because KW rocketry engines are slightly more realistic. They take a little while to throttle up and down, not like a jet engine does, but in real life, obviously, it's not just instant. It takes a little while for them to throttle up, and that's why I hold before release with KW rocketry engines, because they have to build up their thrust before they launch, or you just kind of hit the launch pad with a giant Saturn V. Anyway, I've left most of this at 4 times time accelerate because it was one of my favourite dockings because it was really slow. I only have 1 docking port, so I have to actually leave this bit dead in the water so that I can make Pandora dock with it, because the only control it has is this little probe that's attached to it. But yeah, I also liked how slow and just gentle this was, and it took ages. But I left it at 4 times time accelerate because it's not so fun to watch as it is to do, but I did want it to be kind of here. And it's really nice just passing over the desert. I don't know, this was just a particularly bright scene, which I'm kind of a little remiss from these days because I seem to be doing a lot of things in the dark in KSP. I don't really know why. I think it's just how it works. Or maybe when I'm flying in the light, it's usually to go and deal death in collaborative warfare, and that kind of mars the beauty. But I have started, anyway, I have started using my nuclear engines on this to slow down and things, just for a little more responsiveness and the tiny amount of thrust I get from those RCS engines. And you may be thinking, Peter, you only included 2 nuclear engines on this giant spacecraft. That'll take so long to go everywhere. Yes, it will take a long time to go everywhere, but it's better to have efficiency, and this is going to be taking some pretty serious payloads. And this does look kind of weird. I mean, it's mainly because the core bit with the actual just fuel tanks, those usually hold a liquid fuel and oxidizer, and we're just getting rid of our probe here. So I drained them, but I still needed a little more fuel, so I tacked on some of those just liquid fuel tanks on the side. So it looks a bit weird, but I don't know, I kind of like it, just having lots of things on the side. But yeah, anyway, now the mothership drive section is pretty much dead in the water because, well, I only have one docking port, and I didn't want to launch it. I didn't want to stress the engines because they're on a bicoupler, and that's always weird launching a bicoupler. And now it goes into the dark, which I'm very sorry for, but this docking took me a very long time since this is at 4 times time accelerator, and you can see how slow it is. I'm just making very small corrections. This also has 4 thrusters, but it has a lot less mass, so it's, you know, much easier. And yeah, we're just pretty much just doing lots of little burns, trying to just get ourselves lined up before we move in. Because with smaller docking ports, you can pretty much, as long as you get close, it'll pull you together. But with these bigger ones, you have to be more lined up for them to be effective at docking you together. So yeah, I pretty much just moved in very gently. And yeah, there we go. But it went very well, and everything was good. I didn't bash anything, and I'm glad I didn't leave those solar panels open, though I feel like they might have broken. Anyway, let's take a look at this with its solar panels and its radiators as well. I put some radiators on the drive section. I thought that might be a smart thing to do. But anyway, yeah, with them out, that is pretty much the end of the episode. I'm not going to leave these out because I have to dock more things to this at some point in the future. And I don't want to break them. But yeah. In the next episode, I'm not really sure what I will be doing. I might do another Slate landing attempt. I might actually send like a big fuel miner there, with a little more Delta V, a little more thrust, a little more action, please. And actually try and get that down so I have something functional there. But I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, I will see you for the next episode, hopefully. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. This has been KSP with Tape. I will see you next time.